Listen to me. There comes a moment in every person's life when average becomes unbearable, when mediocrity, that comfortable, familiar blanket, starts to suffocate you. You wake up one morning and realize you've been living in neutral. You've been breathing, but not alive, moving, but not progressing, surviving, but not thriving. And that's when the war begins, not with the world, but with yourself. Because the real battle isn't out there, it's in here. It's between who you are and who you know you could be. Average is seductive. It whispers, you're doing fine. You're not the worst, but fine never built empires. Fine never raised nations. Fine never made the world remember a name. Every legend you admire, Edison, Ford, Lincoln, Disney, Jobs, they all had a moment when they looked at average and said, not me, not anymore. They burned a bridge back to comfort. They didn't just want success. They decided it. That's the shift. That's where the unstoppable are born. Not from talent, not from luck, but from a moment of truth where you say, I'm done living below my potential. Because here's the truth nobody wants to admit. You don't need more time. You don't need more resources. You need a shift in belief, in identity, in how you see yourself when nobody's watching. That's where transformation begins. You see, every breakthrough starts as a private rebellion, a quiet decision in the dark to never go back to who you were yesterday. Let's be honest, the world is filled with dreamers. Everyone wants to be great, but the difference between wanting and becoming is discipline. Discipline is the bridge between vision and victory. It's the language the universe respects. Discipline doesn't ask how you feel. It asks what you're committed to. It's waking up when you're tired. It's showing up when no one claps. It's putting in the reps when your emotions scream, quit, because emotions lie, but consistency never does. That's why average people never cross over. They chase motivation, but the unstoppable chase mastery. They know that greatness isn't a moment of inspiration. It's a lifetime of repetition. Think about Edison. 10,000 failures. 10,000 times the world said, it's impossible. But he understood something the average person never will. Failure isn't the end, it's feedback. Every mistake carved him closer to the light. That's the shift. When you stop fearing failure and start using it, life opens up in ways you can't imagine. See, average people want guarantees. Unstoppable people want growth. Average waits for permission. Unstoppable gives itself permission. Average sees problems. Unstoppable sees opportunities wrapped in discomfort. You can't pray for elevation and then refuse to climb. You can't ask for strength and then reject the struggle that builds it. The truth is, your life will always rise to the level of your standards, not your dreams, not your wishes. Your standards. If your standards are average, your results will be too. So raise them. Raise your standard for effort. Raise your standard for honesty. Raise your standard for the kind of person you demand yourself to become. Because life doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you are. And if you're operating at average, you'll never attract extraordinary. Every morning, life gives you two choices: evolve or repeat. One builds you, the other buries you. Most people repeat because evolution costs something. It costs comfort, pride, ego, excuses. But if you can let those die, something greater is born in their place. It's not about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you were before the world told you to settle. That fire inside you, it's not gone. It's just been buried under years of playing small. Every maybe next year, every someday, every what will they think has dimmed it. But it's still there, waiting for you to choose. And that choice, that moment when you say, enough, that's the moment you become unstoppable. Because the shift isn't a new skill or strategy. It's a decision to no longer negotiate with your own greatness, a decision to stop lowering yourself to fit in rooms that were never built for your potential. This is where the transformation begins. When you stop chasing outcomes and start becoming the person who naturally creates them. That's the shift that changes everything. When you make that decision, when you finally say no more, something powerful starts to happen inside you. Your eyes open, not just to what's around you, but to what's possible. You start to see that the walls you thought were holding you back were never made of concrete. They were made of fear, doubt, and old beliefs. And the moment you shift your perspective, those walls crumble. Vision is born the moment you decide to see beyond your current reality. Every empire started with a vision that looked ridiculous to the world. When Henry Ford talked about a car for the common man, they laugh. When Walt Disney drew a mouse and called it magic, they mocked him. When Steve Jobs said he'd put 1,000 songs in your pocket, they called him delusional. But visionaries don't need the world's approval. They need their own conviction, because vision isn't something you see with your eyes. It's something you feel in your spirit. It's that inner knowing that says, there's more for me than this. And clarity, that's what keeps the vision alive when the world turns cold. Clarity is your internal compass. Without it, you'll chase everything and catch nothing. That's why average people burn out. They mistake movement for progress. They stay busy, but not productive. They run fast in the wrong direction. But the unstoppable, they move with precision. They say no to what doesn't align. They protect their energy like treasure because they understand focus is fuel. You can't build an empire if you're distracted by every noise around you. Clarity is the art of subtraction, not adding more to your life, but removing what doesn't serve your purpose. It's cleaning the lens of your mind until your vision becomes undeniable. And once your vision is clear, discipline takes the wheel, because clarity without discipline is just a fantasy. Discipline is what turns your vision into flesh, your ideas into impact. It's what takes the dream out of your head and plants it in reality. But discipline isn't glamorous. It's not Instagram highlights or motivational quotes. It's early mornings. It's late nights. It's saying no to comfort when everyone else is indulging in it. When you understand that your habits shape your destiny, discipline stops being a punishment. It becomes your power. Ask any great athlete, artist, or creator. They didn't feel like it most days, but they showed up anyway. That's what separates the average from the unstoppable. Not talent, not luck, but consistency. You can't be legendary on occasion. Greatness is a lifestyle. Lincoln faced defeat after defeat, elections lost, businesses failed, family gone. But he refused to break. Why? Because he had vision. He knew that purpose gives pain a reason to exist. When your why is strong enough, you can endure anyhow. And that's the truth. Pain isn't the enemy, it's the instructor. The pain you're avoiding is often the very path to your transformation. Everybody wants strength, but nobody wants resistance. Everybody wants success, but nobody wants sacrifice. You can't sculpt a masterpiece without chiseling away the marble. And you can't sculpt your potential without pressure. Pressure is the birthplace of greatness. Stop asking life to be easy. Ask it to make you better. Because easy never built warriors. Easy never created leaders. Easy never made legends. When you embrace discomfort, you're no longer controlled by it. The same storm that destroys others becomes your wind of elevation. That's what separates the unstoppable. They don't pray for calm seas, they learn to sail through the storm. You think Edison enjoyed failing 10,000 times. You think Carnegie never faced nights of doubt. You think Disney never questioned himself when everything he built went bankrupt. Of course they did, but they never stayed there. They learned that pain is not a sign to quit. It's a sign you're close. Every struggle is evidence of potential trying to break through. Every challenge is life asking, how bad do you want it? And if you can answer that question with action, not words, the world begins to move out of your way. The truth is, transformation is never about doing more. It's about becoming more. You don't get success by chasing it. You attract it by evolving into the kind of person who commands it. The person who complains can't coexist with the person who conquers. One of them has to die. The question is, which one will you let live? Because there's a version of you, focused, disciplined, confident, fearless, that's waiting on the other side of average. But to meet them, you'll have to give up your excuses. That's the real shift. When you stop explaining your limitations and start expanding your capacity. When you stop telling your story of struggle and start writing your story of strength. The world doesn't owe you understanding, it owes you opportunity. And opportunity belongs to the prepared. Every time you show up, when you don't feel like it, you're preparing. Every time you refuse to settle, you're evolving. Every time you keep your promise to yourself, you're rewriting your identity. That's the shift. It's not one big decision. It's 1,000 small ones made daily in silence when no one's watching. But one day the world will watch and they'll call you lucky, gifted, chosen. But you'll know the truth. You weren't lucky. You were consistent. You weren't chosen. You were committed, and that's the difference. That's what takes you from average to unstoppable. The world you live in will not slow down for you. It will not pause to let you catch your breath or wait while you figure yourself out. The world rewards those who adapt, those who can bend without breaking, shift without losing their purpose, and rebuild even after being torn apart. Adaptability isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's the understanding that you can't control the wind, but you can always adjust your sails. The unstoppable understand that life doesn't play fair. It doesn't hand out trophies for effort. It crowns those who can evolve faster than their circumstances. When everything changes, the economy, relationships, your health, your plans, you have two choices: resist or respond. Resistance keeps you stuck in the past. Response moves you into the future. The ones who thrive are not the strongest, not the smartest. They're the most adaptable. Because adaptability isn't about losing who you are. It's about refining who you are to meet the moment. Every era of greatness demanded a new version of the person achieving it. Edison had to evolve past rejection. Ford had to evolve past ridicule. Oprah had to evolve past pain. You'll have to evolve past fear. You'll have to look uncertainty in the face and say, I trust myself to figure it out. Because that's resilience, the faith that even if life knocks you down, you'll rise stronger every time. Resilience isn't about never breaking. It's about refusing to stay broken. It's not about pretending the pain doesn't exist. It's about choosing to grow in the middle of it. Understand this: adversity doesn't reveal your weakness. It exposes your strength. The struggle doesn't come to stop you. It comes to shape you. It's life asking, are you built for what you're praying for? Because everyone wants to be unshackable until the shaking starts. Everyone wants resilience until life gives them a reason to need it. Resilience is built in the dark, in the days that don't make sense, in the moments when everything inside you screams quit, and you still whisper back, not today. The truth is, you'll never know how powerful you are until pain demands you to find out. When life strips away what's comfortable, it reveals what's core. It's in those moments, when your plans collapse, when your heart breaks, when your dreams stall, that your real strength emerges. And that strength, that's not taught, it's forged. Forged in the fires of rejection, disappointment, and discipline. You see, average people see obstacles as stop signs. The unstoppable see them as signposts, pointing toward their evolution. When things fall apart, they don't ask, why me? They ask, what is this teaching me? They understand that sometimes life removes things not to punish you, but to prepare you. The door that closed wasn't rejection, it was redirection. The loss you suffered wasn't destruction, it was construction for the next chapter. The delay you're frustrated by isn't denial, it's development. But only those who endure long enough get to see that. The greatest danger isn't failure, it's fatigue. Because when you're tired, you forget who you are. When you're tired, you start believing the lies. That maybe you're not good enough. That maybe your time has passed. That maybe you should settle. That's when you need to remember why you started. Your purpose is the anchor that keeps you from drifting when the storms hit. Purpose doesn't eliminate pain, it gives it meaning. It turns pressure into power, chaos into clarity, pain into progress. When you live with purpose, everything changes. Your energy, your focus, your endurance. Because now you're not just existing, you're becoming someone your past self wouldn't even recognize. Becoming someone who doesn't need applause to keep going. Becoming someone who builds silently, fights quietly, and moves relentlessly. Because that's what it means to be unstoppable. It's not loud, it's not glamorous, it's not about proving anyone wrong. It's about proving yourself right. It's about showing up day after day when no one sees you. Because you know deep down that one day the world will. That's the secret of the unstoppable. They don't chase recognition. They chase refinement. They don't chase comfort. They chase capacity. They don't chase the spotlight. They become the light. So stop waiting for the perfect moment. There is no perfect moment, only this moment. Right now, this is where you decide. Not tomorrow, not next year, not when things feel easy. Now, while it's hard, while it's uncertain, while nobody believes in you yet. Because one day, this moment will be the reason they do. Your pain will become someone else's inspiration. Your struggle will become someone else's strategy. Your survival will become someone else's hope. But none of that happens if you quit. None of that happens if you settle for average. So don't you dare give up now. You've come too far. You've been through too much. You've survived nights that should have broken you. You've walked through fire and came out breathing. You think you did all that just to stop here. No, this is not where your story ends. This is where it begins again. Stronger, wiser, unstoppable. Because resilience isn't the end of your evolution. It's the foundation for it. The pain that built you is the proof that nothing can destroy you. The world doesn't need more perfect people. It needs people who've been broken and rebuilt themselves anyway. That's the mark of the unstoppable. And now we arrive at the truth behind it all. The real shift, the one that changes everything, was never about what you do. It's about who you decide to become. When you finally stop chasing success and start embodying it, when you stop begging life for chances and start creating your own, when you stop identifying as the victim and rise as the architect, that's when everything begins to align. Because the universe doesn't respond to words, it responds to energy. It doesn't listen to what you say you want. It reflects what you believe you deserve. And if you believe you're average, life will treat you like you are. But if you walk like you belong, act like you're capable, and move like your dreams are inevitable, the world has no choice but to make room for you. That's the energy of the unstoppable. They don't wait for doors to open. They build their own. They don't wait for signs. They become the sign. You were not born to blend in. You were born to break patterns, to rewrite the story your family handed you, to be the one who ends the cycle of doubt, fear, and small thinking. Some of you were chosen for a harder road, not because you were cursed, but because you were called. Your pain was preparation. Your rejection was redirection. Your delay was divine timing. You were never behind. You were being built. And now you're ready to stop existing as potential and start living as purpose. Ready to stop hiding behind excuses and start leading with example. Ready to stop surviving and start dominating. Listen, there's a reason legends never die. It's not because of what they did. It's because of who they became while doing it. It's because they lived in such alignment, such conviction, that the world could feel their belief long after they were gone. That's legacy. Legacy isn't fame. It's impact. It's the lives you touch, the hearts you awaken, the people you inspire just by being authentic. You think Carnegie knew how big his steel would grow. You think Lincoln knew how far his words would echo. You think Disney could see how many generations his dreams would delight. No, they didn't see the scale, but they trusted the seed. They watered it with faith, protected it with discipline, and guarded it with perseverance. And that's all you need. You don't need to know how it's all going to happen. You just need to take the next right step. And when that step feels heavy, remember this: progress doesn't always feel like movement. Sometimes it's just refusing to go backward. Sometimes the greatest victory is not in the leap, but in the stand. The stand you take when fear whispers, quit. The stand you take when no one claps. The stand you take when everything inside you says, maybe I'm not enough, and you rise anyway. That's the moment you stop chasing greatness and start embodying it. Because being unstoppable isn't about speed, it's about stillness. It's the calm inside chaos, the faith inside fear, the power inside patience. You've got to understand, the goal was never perfection, it was progress. The mission was never comfort, it was character. The reward was never applause, it was alignment. When you reach that level of peace with your grind, when you can look in the mirror and know you gave everything, that's freedom, that's success, that's power. You are not average. You were never average. You just forgot who you were. But now you remember. Now you rise. Rise with clarity. Rise with discipline. Rise with conviction. Rise with unshakable belief that you are built for more. The same breath that fuels billionaires, world changers, and dreamers runs through you. You have the same 24 hours, the same mind, the same capacity to build something eternal. The question is, will you waste it or will you use it? Because the shift that changes everything is not external, it's internal. The day you stop waiting for opportunities and realize you are the opportunity. The day you stop chasing validation and realize you are already valuable. The day you stop measuring progress by comparison and start measuring it by consistency. That's the day the game changes. That's the day average dies and unstoppable is born. You don't need more motivation. You need a decision. One moment of pure, absolute, unapologetic decision to never live small again. Decide to show up. Decide to be great. Decide that your purpose is greater than your pain. The world will try to break you. Let it try. Because once you've been broken and rebuilt, you're no longer fragile. You're forged. And the forged don't fear fire. They become it. So burn with purpose. Burn with vision. Burn so bright that the world has no choice but to see you. And when they ask how you did it, when they ask what changed, when they ask how you went from average to unstoppable, you'll smile and say, I didn't wait for life to change. I became the change. That right there is the shift that changes everything.